Hello, Internet. It is I, Malik Aaron, and welcome back to my Winter 2020 box office predictions. And what a surprise! Today, we're talking about yet another horror movie. Look, I know. I'm sorry. But don't blame me. Blame Hollywood, because they're the ones who thought it would be a brilliant idea to release not one, not two, not three, but four horror movies in the span of 1 month. Four. On an almost weekly basis. And guess what? Next month it's not going to be much better. We're going to have three horror movies back to back to back. Yeah. And people said the superhero genre is oversaturated. But anywho, the horror movie we're going to be talking about today is Gretel and Hansel. Yeah, you heard that right. It's no longer Hansel and Gretel. No, it's Gretel and Hansel now. Gee, I wonder how long it took someone to come up with that. Probably took them 2 seconds. But yeah. So, as usual, we're going to go over the pros and cons for Gretel and Hansel. It's going to be weird saying it like that. I'm so used to calling it Hansel and Gretel. So, anyway, let's just jump right into it. Pros. Well, unlike all the other horror movies that came out, this January, The Grudge, Underwater, The Turning, this one looks and feels slightly different than those. So at least it stands out a bit better. It's not just a full-blown jump scare fest. So that's good at least. That's one pro. Second pro is that the reviews for this are actually not bad. Well, they're not terrible. They're not Grudge bad or Turning bad. They're actually, quite high for a horror movie that comes out this early in the year. But they're still not great. And I just looked at the cinema score. This movie, unlike The Grudge and The Turning, did not get an F. No, it got a C minus, which is a lot more normal for a horror movie, because a lot of horror movies usually end up in the C range. So that grade is neither going to help or hurt this movie. And that's about it. That's all I can come up with. Cons. Again, this is the fourth horror movie this month. Like, Jesus. And people, for the past few years, I've heard people complain about, there's such an oversaturation of Marvel movies and superhero movies. There's just too many, yada, yada, yada. But, imagine if a Marvel movie, instead of coming out every month, imagine one every week. That's stupid. Because everyone knows you don't release multiple movies from the same genre, one after the other, because they're all just gonna blend in with one another. None of them are gonna succeed. None of them are gonna stand out, and they're all gonna suffer. Okay, maybe not the first one, but after that, the rest are gonna suffer. That's just how it works. They're all just gonna eat each other alive, and then at that point, none of them will be as big of a hit as as originally intended. That's what I feel is gonna happen with Gretel and Hansel. People are like, bro, we just had The Grudge, we just had The Turning. We don't need any more horror movies. And so I imagine a lot of horror movie fans are just going to skip out on Gretel and Hansel and probably just wait until either The Invisible Man comes out or A Quiet Place 2 comes out. Because, because those two movies look a lot more worthwhile than Gretel and Hansel. But yeah, that's the first con. Second con, it's Super Bowl weekend, which is a death date for a lot of movies. Because you know what happens during Super Bowl weekend? On that Sunday, no one's going to go to the movies. Everyone's going to stay home to either, watching the Super Bowl, whether they're watching it for the halftime show, they're going to watch it for the trailers or commercials, or watch the game itself. No one cares about the movies that are coming out. nobody. Well, actually, a long time ago, you could open a movie during the Super Bowl weekend. You could counter program it. I mean, there are movies from the past, like, try to remember off the top of my head. You know, horror movies from the past were able to do it. Um, what was it? Taken did it. The original Taken. That was one of the biggest hits ever for the month of January. There was that. There was like Dear John from Nicholas Sparks from his movies. Remember him? Um, what else? Like Chronicle, Woman in Black, Warm Bodies. But then after that, Hollywood just stopped trying. They were just like, whatever, just throw something out there. And then that movie dies, and it's very clear that the same fate's gonna happen with Gretel and Hansel. But to this movie's credit, it only cost like $5 million, so I can't imagine it's gonna lose that much money. But still, it's not good. And yeah, that's really all I have to say. There's not much to say about Gretel and Hansel. So yeah, opening weekend, I'm going to say 6 million at the most. 6 million. 6 million or lower. And then its overall run will probably be like 15 million, 15 to 20, probably closer to 15. And then it will die, and then no one will remember it. Unless, it magically just pops up in somebody's head. Because that's happened to me before. Sometimes I just get reminded of random movies for no reason. But, yeah. That's it for Gretel and Hansel. So what's next? Well, it's really not much better than Gretel and Hansel. It's the rhythm section. Yeah, that movie no one's watching. And then after that, there's Birds of Prey, which will be the only movie coming out next week. And then finally, Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm ready. I'm ready to talk about Sonic. I want to talk about that movie so badly. Because it's just, of all the movies that have, coming out recently, Sonic is the one I'm willing to watch the most. It's the one I'm excited about the most. And yeah, I can't wait to, talk about it and see it. And as for everything else, I just don't care. So, yeah, that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment. You want to check out some of my other predictions. My winter 2020 predictions playlist is on the homepage. There's also, my holiday 2019 playlist. There's my box office recap playlist. And yeah, that's it. So yeah, that's all. And I am out.